Okay, so joining us now to help sort through all of this, Steve Baric. Steve, thanks so much for being here.
Thanks for having me, Natasha.
Steve, it's a very strange case. First of all, Quanell X came on our air. He was insistent that he sat there for that hour and 15-minute long interview with police. He said, under no uncertain terms, that Rudy said he was both drugged and sexually abused by his mom. Police are saying no such report of that during the interview. How is that possible? What do you make of that discrepancy?
Natasha, this one's got me stumped. I mean, I've been a lawyer for 25 years. I've been a prosecutor. I've been a defense lawyer. I've handled sexual assault cases as a civil litigator. This is a weird one. I'm not going to lie to you. This is a real head scratcher. It's the facts in and of themselves suggest something very strange, very strange. And in fact, when I first heard the comments from the activist, Mr. X, I believe his name is, I wasn't surprised. But then for the police to come out and say that did not occur, I'm really stumped. I think this is a real weird one. I think there needs to be a thorough investigation because I still believe that there's a lot more going on here than what has come forward so far.
Yeah, and I mean, could it be that there's just a mismatch in their interpretation of what sexual abuse looks like? Because Quanell saying some of these details in the bed naked, kiss on the lips. He said at one point she told him, you have to call me daddy, that you're the dad now. And he said that there were other details. He used the word incest. Could it be that the police heard those same details but somehow did not interpret that to cross the line into sexual abuse?
Natasha, I think you brought up a great point. If you look at what the officer said, he was very careful to say, I have been trained to look for probable cause. And what he's saying there is, I have been trained to listen for the facts showing the evidence of a crime. So it's possible that everything Quanell said may or may not have been true, but the officers are interpreting that does not reach to the level of having sufficient probable cause to prosecute. These internal family molestation type cases are extremely tough. It appears very clear to me that Rudy has been through some systemic brainwashing for a number of years here, because when, his comments when he's talking to investigators seem drastically different from 1 minute to the next. But look, anytime you have a scenario where this now man was reported missing as a teenager, and apparently he wasn't missing at all, but was in the custody of his mother, there's something very strange going on here. And, I saw how animated Quanell was. And that man heard something, absolutely for sure. And that officer was being very careful with how he was saying. So I think that they're hopefully we're going to hear more over the next few weeks.
Yeah, and in the meantime, Quanell also telling News Nation that he begged police to not let Rudy go back home with his mother after the interview, that he is concerned about his safety. We know Rudy is an adult now. Does it surprise you that they are not separated at this point of the investigation?
Yeah, I don't think that there's any legal mechanism for the police to utilize to separate them. He's an adult. He has free will. He can go where he chooses. I guess I would correct myself. He may or may not possess free will with his mother. That's probably a major question that Quanell would probably contest. But I don't think they had any mechanism to prevent that young man from going back with his mother. And it's sad, frankly.
I hear you. The Houston DA's office saying that they're not pressing any charges at this point in the investigation. I appreciate you bringing up, regardless of all of these allegations against the mother of drugging and sexual abuse on the part of the community activist and how that shakes out. At the very least, we do seem to have police agree a mother who has lied about the fact that her son, who was a teenager at the time, has been missing for 8 years. What would be the motive for a mother to report her son missing and then have him at home for 8 years to lie to police? At one point they come to the house. She says that he's her nephew.
Yeah, it's when I first heard about this case, I thought instantly that there was some custodial issue, maybe a custodial dispute between mother and a father, and she wanted to hide him from the father, but that does not appear to be the case here. There was a GoFundMe page that was started, so I thought initially maybe that there was, some scam that was going on, but I think that page only raised like $2,000. I have to believe that based on my experience, I used to prosecute sexual assault cases in the district attorney's office. There's something very disturbing about the actions of this mother as it relates to her son. And sadly, Natasha, the legal system is not very well equipped to handle situations like this. And my fear is that, Rudy has been a victim. And that's just a hunch. I'm not saying he was or he wasn't, but my concern is that he was a victim of abuse. And it's going to be incumbent upon him potentially to come out of it because, it's hard to say exactly what happened at this point, but, I don't think the authorities are going to be able to provide much help.
Okay. It is such a complicated case, but I truly appreciate your perspective and insight. Steve Baric, criminal defense attorney, thank you for your time.
Thanks, Natasha.
Just about